right, we're live.
The February 23rd, 2024 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. Today's meeting is being live streamed on the internet and the link is posted on the Oregon Lottery website. It is noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via the web. Chair Satoff is excused and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Weller,
Sorry, here.
Commissioner Wilcox.
Here.
Will the clerk please inform the commission of any guests that have joined today's meeting?
Yes, joining us today is Nate Carter from the Department of Justice.
Members of the public have the opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for this meeting. Can the clerk please confirm that no public comment was received?
That is correct. We did not receive any public comment.
All right. Let's jump into the director's report.
All right, very good. Good morning, commissioners. Starting today with some sad news from our lottery family. Employee Lenny Thompson, a longtime employee, first hired in 2004, passed away earlier this month after a long battle with cancer. Lenny was a dedicated employee who during his time at Lottery held a number of positions, including distribution, video support, field service, and most recently in-player services. We're sending our heartfelt condolences to Lenny's family, his friends, and our Lottery colleagues. He will definitely be missed. Moving on, we have a quick legislative update. We're now more than halfway through the short session with just 2 weeks remaining. Lottery was closely watching the work of the House Committee on Gambling Regulation, which had introduced 3 bills related to gaming policy. But the committee ultimately decided not to move any bills forward this session. For more information, there is a legislative update in your meeting materials, and we'll continue to monitor the session as things wrap up for any impacts to Lottery. We've held our first all-staff meeting for 2024 this month, had close to 400 employees in attendance. We took a little different approach for this meeting, bringing in an outside facilitator who shared some new energy, new perspectives with our team. It was a very good event, very different than our executive team who usually led these meetings, and I think was a little boring for staff historically. So we also had our governor's office policy advisor come to this meeting and provide some information to the staff. So I think that was also appreciated. This meeting was planned and facilitated by staff who did an amazing job. So shout out to them and a great thanks for the good work. A number of us this month attended the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association's annual Taste of Oregon event. It was a good opportunity to network with those in the industry. Orla is a great partner to Lottery and helps us stay in tune with the industry and our retail partners. So thank you for their work, and we enjoyed the event. The annual Governor's State Employee Food Drive is currently underway. In addition to direct donations from staff, staff have been supporting this event through several fundraising efforts. We recently hosted a chili cook-off and a silent auction for the numbered carpet squares that you've probably seen in the lobby of our headquarters. We recently recarpeted, and we kind of took out of the PDX playbook, we decided to auction off those numbered squares. So appreciate our employees' participation in that event, those events. Also, Bobby Bones, one of our employees, is pretty famous for the fudge that he can make. And so he's auctioned off 18 pounds of fudge to employees. So thank you to Bobby for always coming through with your famous fudge. Moving on to a sales update. In sales, We had some impacts from the January ice storms, which lowered our video lottery forecast by about 5.5 million for January. And games such as Keno and Scratch It also experienced a 20 to 30% decrease during the storms. However, we are anticipating a rebound, in part from the statewide kicker check beginning in March. Overall, Mega Millions sales are down compared to last year due to the billion-dollar jackpot we saw last January. That said, Powerball is up 16.6% this year due to more recent billion-dollar jackpots. The St. Patrick's Day raffle sales are up over the past couple weeks, with sales trending slightly ahead of business from the past 3 years. We're also still seeing a slight lift in sales, about 15% for our Win for Life game, 6 months after the end of the marketing campaign. And for sports, during the Super Bowl, we saw an increase in the total number of wagers placed, over 420,000, compared to the Super Bowl in 23, where we had 307,000 bets. Oregon Lottery also saw a higher margin of revenue this year, which came in at about 19% above last year. New registrations on the app also increased, with over 6,000 new users registering the week leading up to the Super Bowl. And a few winter stories. Since we're talking about Super Bowl, our biggest single payout was Caleb S. of Forest Grove, who took home $40,400 on a wager for the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game. Caleb is a lifelong Chiefs fan, and it was the one wager he placed during the game. He plans on buying an electric bicycle with the money and paying off some bills. Mark G. of Gresham hit $17,500 in a Big City Fives Diamond jackpot, which is his favorite game. He was playing at Dottie's. He planned to share his winnings with his children for Valentine's Day. And Zoe B. of Eugene purchased a couple crossword scratch-its from the Northgate liquor store in Springfield and she was starting off the weekend. It was a fun surprise to see she had scratched off a $100,000 winner. Zoe plans to use the winnings to get a new car and take a vacation to somewhere warm. And that completes my director's report for this month.
Thank you. Looks like the next thing are the minutes. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move that the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on January 26, 2024 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
For the record, the motion has passed. Next, we'll have the financial report.
Right. Good morning, Commissioners and Director Wells. For the record, my name is Jamie Eglin, Senior Manager of Accounting for the Oregon State Lottery. Today, we will review the January and year-to-date financial statements. New to your packet was an analysis of the variances. We hope that this gave you some additional information of the month and year-to-date activities. I'll give you some of those highlights of that summary. The January operating statement, net revenues for January were $107 million on a budget of $122 million. This is a $14.4 million unfavorable variance to budget. Net profits for the month is $69.5 million on a budget of $77.4 million. This is an unfavorable variance of $7.9 million. Moving on to the year-to-date operating statement, net revenues for the year are $825 million on a budget of $830 million. This is a 5.5 unfavorable variance for the year. We are 7 months into the year, by the way. Net profits for the year is $520 million on a budget of $498 million. This is a $22 million favorable variance. We will now review January and the year-to-date variances. I will highlight a few from the packet that we provided to you. And you'll note that many of the variances are similar to last month. Retailer commissions, traditional commissions year-to-date are over budget by $2.2 million. About 2/3 of the overage is due to the budget commission rate being too low. The budget rate was 8.003%, while the actual rate is about 8.591%. The actual rate is following the previous year trends, but the sales over forecast caused the sales over forecast caused the other 1/3 of the overage. Video commissions year-to-date are under budget by $1 million. The budget rate was 1.795%. However, the actual rate is higher at 1.835%. Year-to-date sales are $259 million under budget, saving $1.2 million in expected commissions. Game vendor charges are over budget by $554,000. This unfavorable variance is driven by higher than expected sales for traditional and sports products. Year-to-date, the expenses are within budget. Tickets are favorable for January and year-to-date due to a higher planned revenue forecast versus actual. The usage and timing of the new tickets is lower. Game equipment, parts and maintenance. January is unfavorable to the purchase of spare parts for the Light and Wonder terminal. This expense was budgeted for fiscal year 24, but the purchase was allocated to a different month in the budget and will smooth out by the end of the year. Year-to-date is favorable due to postponing video game sets to fiscal year 25, as well as other initiatives related to video lottery. Other income and expense. On both January and year-to-date, positive variance are due to the interest earning market. The rate this time last year was 3.1% compared to 5% currently. And again, I will note on the salary, wages, and benefits that we continue to be unfavorable due to a formula error, and this will continue to the end of the year. Now on to the service and supplies. I'll note that technology expenses, January and year-to-date are favorable due to purchases not following the budget pattern of equal spending each month. Professional services, January and year-to-date favorable variances will continue throughout the year due to projects taking longer than anticipated, as well as postponed projects. Next is the balance sheet for your consideration, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? I think Commissioner Weller, you're on mute. I think you're still on mute.
There we go, finally. I would like to go on record as thanking the Finance Department. This seems to have been an addition, this explanatory pages over some of the variances during the preceding month, the month that we're discussing at this point in time. That is a very welcome addition as far as I'm concerned, and saves a pretty good chunk of time in terms of, at least for me, reviewing the financial information. So I just want to go on record as saying, nicely done. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let the F&A team know. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you for your presentation today, Jamie. That was great.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the financial statements?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery financial statements for month ended January 31st, 2024 be approved for the record as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
For the record, the motion is passed. Next, we have Director Wells to talk to us about alternative disclosure request.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Patel. So in your packet, you guys should have a memo regarding alternative disclosure request for Winco Foods LLC. The memo provides additional specifics. However, as a quick reminder, our alternative disclosure process we adopted in 2015 to reduce the requirements for personal disclosure of qualifying companies. To qualify for an alternative disclosure, the applicant must be a public company or a public company or multi-state chain retailer. They must have 30 retail locations at least, 10 million in gross sales, and over 300 employees, or it could be an entity owned by a federally recognized tribe. To date, the commission has adopted the alternative disclosure process for 3 retailers. That was Chevron Stations, Walmart, and Circle K historically. I recommend that we use the alternative disclosure process for Winco Foods LLC, as they do meet the criteria for the alternative disclosure, and therefore seek your approval for us to do so.
Are there any questions from the commissioners? Is there a motion to approve the alternative disclosure process for Winco Foods LLC?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery Commission approve the alternative disclosure process, waiving the personal disclosure requirements for Winco Foods LLC as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
For the record, the motion is passed. And next we have a 2020 retailer contract amendment. Once again, Director Wells.
Yes, it's me again. Thank you, Commissioner. Again, in your packet, you guys should have a memo regarding an amendment to our current 2020 retailer contract. This amendment would extend the contract termination date by 2 years. As outlined in your memo, we have several major projects underway, which unfortunately are occurring during the standard contract renewal period. I'm concerned that these in-flight projects could negatively impact a successful rollout of our 2025 contract to the retailers. So to ensure we don't end up with problems, it is my recommendation that we extend our current contract by 2 years. During that period of time, these projects are scheduled for completion, and therefore I believe that we'll be able to successfully, without issue, roll out our new contract to all of our retailers. So for those reasons, I'm requesting your support in the retail contract extension amendment that you have before you.
Any questions from the commissioners? Is there a motion to approve the amendment of the retailer contract?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery Commission approve the amendment to the 2020 retailer contract that extends the termination date of the contract from June 29th, 2025 to June 29th, 2027, as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
For the record, the motion is passed. It looks like we're at the bottom of our agenda here. Are there any other commissioner communications or any other business?
I was enjoyed the Director Wells report of the winners this month. That was always nice to hear of these great stories that happen for folks, and it's pretty neat the things that they're doing with their winnings. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks. So this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Friday, March 29th. Thank you all for attending today's meeting. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank
Take care.
you all.
Thank you all.